Welcome to this week's episode of the Friday Five. I'm Ben Rosehart, the Sports Information Director here at Concordia, and we're joined this week, happy to net some time with Kaya Bock, who's entering her third year on our Concordia beach volleyball team. Kaya, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good. Ready to answer some questions? We've got five for you.
Sure, why not?
All right, sounds good. First one I'm serving up your way. It's a baking question, actually. I saw that was one of your hobbies that you put on your bio. So I'm wondering if you could share one of your favorite recipes, maybe over the last few months, potentially that you were able to indulge in.
Yeah, so my grandmother actually taught me how to bake, so it's always been a big thing in our family. I think during COVID and during quarantine, I definitely cooked a lot of jelly cookies, which is a very homemade Hispanic cookie. And then also I made a lot of red velvet cake balls. Those are probably my ultimate favorite. So just make a homemade red velvet cake, freeze them, put some frosting in it, freeze again, and then dip in chocolate, which is really fun.
Oh, great answers, great answers. Next question, if money were no object, you said you would travel to places like Thailand, India, and London. Why in particular those places? And have you add any more to your bucket list, if you will?
So London for sure, it's always been my dream place to travel, and I hope I get the opportunity one day. My Nana, my grandma used to live in England. I still have family in England, so I would love to meet that side of my family, and it's just always been a big part of my heritage. For Thailand and India, my dad was actually in Thailand for a couple of years and growing up because he was an army rat and all of that. So it's just always been a part of our culture at home. Like we know how to make all those foods, and I think it'd be really cool to touch base with that culture. And we love trying different foods in my family, so it'd be really fun just to go see where it is.
Great answer. Great job, Kaya. Okay, another question. Being from Texas in the San Antonio area, you talked about family and culture growing up, and wanted to ask you, as a graduate of James Madison High School down in the San Antonio area, he was our fourth president of the United States. A lot of history in that area, obviously,
Yes.
with the Alamo and the San Antonio Riverwalk. Which one would you recommend I visit first? Because my wife and I haven't been there yet.
That's a hard one. I would definitely say for history-based, the Alamo. I feel like there's so much going on. I start talking about remodeling it, so I feel like the quicker you go down there, you can really see the true artifacts. And that's just something I've always grown up on. Like in elementary school, we got to see it every year and got to do role plays through it, and it was just kind of really touching to see what they went through to like fight for us. And the Riverwalk is just a big tourist place of great Mexican food and homemade.
Can't go wrong with that. Absolutely.
No, you can't.
I've always been fascinated by history as well, and that's just a really cool place. I'd love to visit someday myself. Could you tell us a little bit about your major as well and what your dream job would be?
So my major, I'm a behavioral science major with an emphasis in psychology and a minor in psychology. So I'm planning on going to grad school because that's what you need, sadly, and then possibly my PhD, and I want to be a child psychologist with a focus on trauma. So just kind of helping everyone, like I've seen things through my community and just kind of what's the right thing to do and what's not the right thing. And kids have always been a special place in my heart with coaching a lot and just doing a lot of tutoring, and I just know that's kind of my place where God's calling.
That's a great answer too. Great job, Kaya. My last question here on the Friday Five for you, Kaya, is again, you're coming from out of state, from Texas. How did you first hear about Concordia, and what really attracted you to want to become a part of the Eagle family?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I was down here, I think it was like my sophomore year of high school. Didn't really know anything about Irvine until one of my friends went to the Spectrum. And they went to a restaurant there, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Didn't like, just telling me all about the facts here in Irvine. I was like, oh, it seems kind of small. And then, small world, a year later, the coach emailed me talking about that she's interested. And I always thought I was going to stay in state. But I knew once I came down here and just seeing like how small the community is, because I didn't want to go to a huge school and be a number. I wanted to represent the community in a way that I could. And so I love that. And I love the coaches out here and the training staff. And I think it's given me so many more opportunities I can't even say thank you for.
Well, we look forward to seeing you out there once again with the beach volleyball team. And I know you guys had a great season last year, 10-1 after just 11 games. Really excited, to see what you and all the your teammates can do moving forward. So thanks again for joining us for the Friday Five, Kaya, and I wish you a great year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.